Hello friends, how are you? I hope all of you are doing really good. So let's continue with our discussion on cost accounting standards, and in this lecture we are going to cover the cost accounting standard 5, that is determination of average or equalized cost of transportation. Now guys, before we start with, I request all of you that please guys do share these lectures with all of you. Otherwise, if you people are not going to help us out, then what is the fun of providing these lectures, right? There is no fun of if you have not subscribed to the channel, if you are not sharing with your friends that they can watch these lectures. So otherwise there is no fun of providing these lectures then, right? We are providing the whole courses free of cost, and if you people are not going to support us, then who else is going to support? Nobody is going to support, right? You people are a part of this family, and it is your responsibility that you should make some efforts in sharing in whatever the groups you can share, in whatever the Telegram groups, channels. That is your responsibility now to take these lectures further, not keep it to yourself only. You should make people aware that it is not only about money, that you will spend money and only then you will get some quality, right? You can watch the lectures, people have been clearing the attempts, the CMA people have been scoring good marks, right? So it is your responsibility now. All I can do is I can provide you with the best of content, and I can request you for that. Rest is totally up to you. Okay, the determination of average or the equalized cost of transportation. Now, what is this transportation? When we are doing business, the transportation is one of the most important cost, right? Two things are related to it. The one thing is, if you are a manufacturer, then there are two events which are very important. One is the procurement of material. One is procurement of raw material. Obviously, without raw material, can you prepare the finished goods and sell? No, sir. Right? So procurement of raw material is one of the important elements if you are doing a business. The second element is the sale of goods. Why are sale of finished goods? Now, why are you manufacturing the finished goods? To sell those goods, isn't it? You have to sell those goods. That is why you are into manufacturing. Now, in both the events, here also, when you are procuring the raw material from a supplier, there will be a transportation cost. There will be a transportation cost. And here also, when you are selling the goods, there will be transportation cost. So this transportation cost is one of the most important elements of cost, one of the major elements of cost, because it is incurred on two important events. One is the procurement of raw material, another one is the sale of finished goods, right? On both these events, this transportation cost, we call it as inward transportation cost, inward cost, right? And this is known as outward cost. Clear? Now, what all is included in this transportation cost? It can be by the different names. Freight is there, cartage is there. What is the difference between freight and cartage? Freight is for a longer distance. When the cost is there, when the movement of goods is there for a longer distance. Let's say from location A to location B, which is 200 kilometers away, right? The transportation cost that you are going to charge, that is known as freight. What is a cartage? Cartage is for the amount that is being charged for a shorter distance. If the two locations are, let's say, 5 kilometers only, so we call it as cartage. There we don't call it as freight, right? Then other things, transit insurance is there. That cost is also there. Transit insurance cost is there. So likewise, there are many other costs. Clear? So transportation cost is an important element of cost of the procurement of material for production and distribution of the product for the sale. So two important events are covered. One is the procurement of material, another one is the distribution for sale. Therefore, the cost accounting records should present the transportation cost separately. Transportation cost is to be shown separately, properly bifurcated, right? That what is the inward cost, what is the outward cost. So everything is to be shown properly. from the other cost of the inward material or the cost of sale of finished goods, right? The Finance Act 2003 also specifies the certification requirement of the transportation cost for claiming the deduction while arriving at assessable value. Excisable good, that was an earlier point. You can leave it, right? So objective to bring the uniformity in the application of principles and methods used in determination of the averaged or equalized transportation cost. Now, what is an average or equalized transportation cost? That is, on an average, what is the transportation cost incurred in a particular period? Let's say we are looking for the 6 months period. In those 6 months, what is on an average the transportation cost has been incurred, whether it is on the procurement of material or it is on the sale of material, right? On an average, what is, because it can vary from consignment to consignment. It will vary. Right? You are procuring the goods from Maharashtra and you are procuring the goods from Tamil Nadu. The transportation cost will be different because it is dependent upon the distance, weight. There are a lot of factors on which it is dependent, mainly on weight and distance. To prescribe the system to be followed for the maintenance of records for the collection of cost of transportation, its allocation or apportionment to the cost center, location or products. To provide transparency in the determination of the cost of transportation, because it is one of the important cost, right? The scope is determination of average transportation cost for claiming the deduction for arriving at assessable value of excisable goods. That was an earlier point before GST. Insurance claim valuation. If you know the cost of transportation, accordingly the transit insurance will be done. Working out the claim for the freight subsidy under the Fertilizer Industry Coordination Committee. If some subsidy is available, then you should know that what is the amount of your cost so that the subsidy will be given accordingly, because they will ask for all the records, right? If there is subsidy available on any of the things, that department, the government department will ask for all your records, right? So if your records are not properly maintained, then how will you provide them and how will you claim the subsidy then? You will not be able to do it, right? Administered the price mechanism of freight cost element, determination of the inward freight cost and to be included in the cost of purchase, and the computation of freight included in the value of inventory for accounting on inventory or stock hypothecated with the banks or financial institutions, right? So basically two types of freight cost, transportation cost, inward and outward, right? So these are the various definitions that what all is included in the cost of transportation. Comprises of the cost of freight, cartage, transit insurance, cost of operating the fleet and other incidental charges, whether incurred internally or paid to an outside agency for the transportation of goods, but does not include detention and demurrage charges. Now this is important. Why does it not include detention and demurrage charges? Because these are in the nature of penalty. Right? So what is a penalty? Whether it is a normal cost or an abnormal cost. So this is an abnormal cost. And in the whole of costing, we have studied that when there is an abnormal cost, where do you take this abnormal cost? It is directly to be taken to costing, profit and loss account. So inward transportation cost is the expenses incurred on the procurement, outward transportation cost on the sale of the goods. Freight is the charges paid. Freight is the charges paid or payable for transporting the material from one location to another. The cartage is the expenses incurred for movement of goods covering the short distance, right? For further transportation of delivery to customer or the storage. Transit insurance cost is the amount of premium to be paid to cover the risk of loss or damage to the goods in transit. Equalized transportation cost means the average transportation cost incurred during a specified period. This is known as equalized or average transportation cost. Equalized freight means the average freight that has been paid, right? So you have to maintain the proper records regarding that what is the amount of freight, cartage, transit insurance, regarding the movement of goods from which location to which location the goods are moving, in which vehicle they are moving, right? If there is any abnormal cost that is incurred, detention charges, penalty, you have to record that also. So all the records have to be properly maintained regarding the transportation, right? Which party booked the material, which party is the receiver, which party is the payer, and the payment is to be received from whom. So all these things you have to record, right? Then treatment of cost is very simple. When we are talking about the inward transportation cost, it is to be included in the cost of purchase, right? the goods that you have purchased, it will be included in that cost. I told you that all the expenses from the time of placing an order till the time you receive the goods in your factory, all the expenses during that period. So transportation cost is a part of those expenses. Those expenses will be included in the cost of material purchased, right? So inward transportation cost shall form the part of cost of procurement of material which are to be identified for proper allocation and apportionment to the material. So it is the part of your cost of material. Remember the cost sheet part where we calculate the material consumption. There also we take the freight inward, right? But if there is any abnormal charges related to it, that is not to be included. That is to be taken to directly costing and profit and loss account. If there are any detention, demurrage, penalty, so all these things are abnormal charges, right? These are not normal charges. The abnormal charges will not form the part of cost of material. That will be taken to costing, profit and loss account. So outward transportation cost shall form the part of the cost of sale and shall be allocated or apportioned to the material and goods on the suitable basis. So in the cost sheet, we take selling and distribution expenses. That is what? Distribution expenses. That is transportation cost, sir, right? So it shall form the part of your cost of sale. Abnormal and the non-recurring cost shall not form the part of transportation cost. As already told, this will be taken to where? This will be taken to costing, profit and loss account, right? So this was our cost accounting standard 5, that is on equalized or average transportation cost, right? So we will continue it in the next lecture with cost accounting standard 6, right? So guys, please do like the video, share the video and subscribe to the channel if you have not yet done it, right? So see you guys in the next lecture. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, keep studying, keep sharing. Thank you so much.